waste heat for either domestic hot water to provide the space heat for the building, or through driving the steam through a steam-driven chiller to provide for space cooling, or through an absorption chiller to provide your chill water needs. You can also use it for dehumidification purposes. You can use it for generating more electricity, and you can generate it for the process steam needs at your facility. I'm going to talk about the benefits of combined heat and power. I mean, DOE has this vision of tripling the nation's needs by 2030. So what is the source? Why do they think that combined heat and power is so beneficial? Basically, it increases energy security and reliability. It operates at a very high efficiency. It reduces emissions, reduces energy costs, and can prove a very attractive return on investment when there is a good match between your electric and thermal loads. It also can provide jobs and a boost to the local economy as well. Now, in terms of security and reliability, this slide talks about how your CHP system will be connected to your facility. As you can see here, it is typically connected through a parallel switch gear. So basically, you have your utility lines and your CHP lines, electric feeders, going through a switch gear and serving the building. Now, let's assume there is a power outage. You can see the marks in yellow, which says that the grid is down. Now, when the grid is down, the CHP system continues to operate, serving the critical building loads. And as you can see, through an absorption chiller, you will still get chill water, and you can meet your heating and cooling needs of your building. Now, why is it efficient? Let's consider this imaginary building, which requires 49 units of energy. Your plant fuel, power plant fuel, required to produce 20 units of electricity is actually 66 units of power plant fuel. As you know that all the heat in the power plant is just emanated into the atmosphere, and as a result, when you throw in the transmission and line losses, the net electricity unit which comes on the site is extremely inefficient. Now, in this particular example, the CHP system, to provide the same 49 units of energy, it consumes only 57 units of the CHP fuel. As a result, this efficiency in this example is about 86% when you compare it to the conventional generation, which is in the 49% range. Now, in terms of emissions, on your left is your typical CHP emissions, and on your right is your emissions from the grid. As you can see, it has a major influence on almost all the greenhouse gases. It has a 47% reduction in carbon dioxide, a 99% reduction in sulfur dioxide, and a 93% reduction in NOx. It also has many benefits in terms of water savings and mercury savings as well. Now, here are some of the list of critical facilities and recent projects. As we can see, you have the Dell Children's Hospital, a 4.3 megawatt CHP plant. You have the Methodist Hospital. You have the TECO, the Texas Medical Center, which is about 100 megawatts. You have UT Austin, which is 88 megawatts. Now, UT Austin, the interesting fact about UT Austin is that it has the CHP plant, and the plant serves all the electric needs, the chill water needs, the steam needs, and the heating needs, and it is just connected to Austin Energy, the grid, as a backup. And despite they have had over the last 35 years, almost their expansion has doubled, but their emissions has remained the same as 1970s level, and that is pretty admirable. The other examples are the Tulane University, the Mississippi Baptist Medical Center, which you had Ross mentioned before, the Domain in Austin. The next few slides give you a flavor as to what a system looks like. This example is the domain and the domain. Your 4.5 megawatt combustion turbine generator. You have turbine inlet cooling, which reduces the temperature, ambient temperature before it hits the turbine to increase your power output. You have the absorption chiller. The next example is the Thermal Energy Corporation, or the TECO. This provides all the steam, the chill water for the medical center in Houston. It has a 100 megawatt gas combustion turbine. It has back pressure steam turbines. It has heat recovery steam generators. You have a thermal storage tanks. And the important part of it is that when the CHP system was installed, it could conveniently displace the load of an older boiler, which significantly reduced emissions at the site. And this gives you the Dell Children's Hospital in Austin, Texas. And the CHP systems are now, can be ordered and manufactured much quicker than what it was done in the past. It can become from concept to reality in less than 12 months. And that is pretty much exactly what happened at the Dell Children's Hospital. Now to talk about what exactly is a feasibility study in terms of what the bill states and how we do a feasibility study. Now the end goal of the feasibility study is to investigate whether CHP is viable from a technical and an economic standpoint. Now there are two stipulations in the bill. And they are CHP systems must be able to provide at least all of the electricity needed for critical emergency operations for at least 14 days with an overall efficiency exceeding 60%. When the expected energy savings of a CHP system exceeds the expected costs of purchasing, operating, and maintaining the system over a 20-year period, equipping the facility with a CHP system is preferred to promote energy security. Now the first step is basically self-qualification. Based on all the information that has been disseminated in this webinar, you need to ask yourself the following questions. Are you owned by the state or a political subdivision of the state? Are you considered critical infrastructure? Are you continuously occupied? Do you operate for at least 6,000 hours each year? Do you have a peak electricity demand exceeding 500 kW? I think it is worth mentioning at this point is, this is the criteria which is laid out by the law. Basically, the law states that if these factors are met, then you must obtain a feasibility study. This in no way implies that this is an ideal kind of building, and anything less than this, so let's say it's 400 kW or it operates at 5,000 hours each year. This does not imply that CHP is not beneficial to you. As long as there is a good match between your electrical and thermal needs, then CHP can prove to be extremely attractive from various standpoints. Now let's say you do meet all those criteria, or you feel that you need to have a CHP study done at your facility. You can either go to a qualified service provider who has a good track record in doing CHP feasibility studies, an engineering firm or an MEP firm, or you can come to us, the U.S. Department of Energy's Application Center. And the way we do look at a feasibility study is we do a two-tiered approach. We first do a screening analysis, and then if the site has a potential, only then do we do a detailed analysis. Now the goal of the screening analysis is to establish if the site has the potential to be a good candidate for CHP. We use like rules of thumb. As we mentioned before, we are one among 8 application centers in the country. So we have a huge network, and we have people who have been doing these feasibility studies for 15, 20 years. So we have annual average costs. We have a lot of project profiles from which we can get information about, we use average estimated load profiles, and by all this we get close to plus minus 30% in terms of savings, costs, and payback. All this is done